All right, purpose of this video, I'm just trying to showcase the fact that any kind of cleaning of an Opel cam and head timing cover with any kind of abrasive tends to leave residue. And even ultrasonic cleaners, jet wash, hot tanks, whatever, they just don't seem to get everything out of it because of all the concealed passages. You've got plugs in various places. You've got the spring-loaded check valve here. And just to prove my point, this is a timing cover that was just recently cleaned. And I'm going to take this plunger, and hopefully I'm quiet enough you can hear it. That sound is grit. So there's definitely stuff in there, and that's why every single one of these passages has to be opened up. And then I have it cleaned. And then after that, I go back with hot water, Dawn detergent. I use Purple Clean and rifle brushes, and I clean it until it's spotless, until I can shine a light in there and I can see every single nook and cranny. No residue, no black, absolutely no glass bead or sandblasting dust or anything like that. So this is the first step of this procedure. So the first plug that I'm going to try to remove here is the one at the very top of the timing cover here. So this is the coolant passage, or the, between the cylinder head and the timing cover. And this is the passage that's drilled to allow oil to get from the oil pump up through this galley. And this comes through here and goes to the cylinder head. So when there's crap underneath this, that means you can have crap that goes right to the cylinder head. So camshaft lifters, rocker arms are going to get deprived of oil potentially, as well as getting abrasive. So let me see if I can remove this in my preferred method. You can't really drive it in, there's no place for it to go. So what I'll do is I'll center punch it like that. And we'll drill a pilot hole. Oh, if it doesn't wander. Which it is. Okay. We'll step it up. I don't recall what size I need. I think one more step. See if that works. Yeah, I'm going to run a tap into it. This is a M6 by 1.0. It's basically only going through sheet metal, so it shouldn't take much. And then let's see. This scrap bolt will work. It's a little loose, but hopefully it'll do the job. Guess we'll see. And it's not working. Well, the first size that I tried didn't work. It stripped right out. Then I went from 1/4 inch to 5/16 that strip. So here I am at 10 millimeter. Hopefully this will pull out. I also got the slide hammer that I made, so maybe this will work. We'll see. Oh, there you go. Where is that? Popped right out. So what I'm trying to do then is show. Yeah. Okay, so there are some metal chips in there, which is from the drilling, obviously. But if you look down there, if the camera will, all that black, that's all grease and glass bead, all compressed together. So on its own, if this was on a shelf, it probably would have never moved. But, once you get hot oil circulating through this thing and the engine goes through some heat cycles, that will loosen up and it'll start to travel and it'll run through all the galleys and it'll hit every single part of your engine. That's why this has to be done. Okay, next up, I'm going to remove the oil filter thread portion. It's just threaded on both ends. There's nothing special. Obviously, you don't want to damage the threads on the outside. So all I do is I just take a piece of rubber. It's a piece of 1/8 inch neoprene, I think. And a pair of channel locks or whatever. Sometimes pliers. And unless it's galled up, it should come out. Sometimes they do fight you, but let's see if I can get this on here without damaging. and still sort of make it visible on camera. Oh, there we go. I'm not good at filming and talking and doing stuff simultaneously, folks, so give me a little break here. All right, let's see if this works. There it is. All right, crack free. All right. Not horrible. A lot of times you hear that grit. I don't hear any, but again, proof that no matter how much you hot tank, you can't get it all out. Look at all the oil. And this was an otherwise spotlessly clean. Yeah, see, look at all the coagulated stuff right there. I'm betting if I touched it, yeah, abrasive right in there, right where your filter is. So again, another reason why every damn piece has to come out. And I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, any business, any companies. I've just seen in 40 plus years of working on these damn things that no matter what you do, you have to dig every plug out every single time if you do anything with, again, you know, glass beading, vapor blasting, whatever it is. They just don't like it. They get in every nook and cranny. Okay, the next item I'm going to remove is the oil filter bypass. So they either came with a solid metal ring, basically a piece of pipe, like hard, like really hard, shiny pipe, thick wall, or the later ones came with this, which is essentially it's a freeze plug with a hole in the middle. And I like to put the solid ones in if I can find them. And as it turns out, you can take, in this case, I think it's a 10 by 1 or 1.25 pitch bolt here on the end of this slide hammer, and it threads right in. It's got to put a little force on it, but it threads right into it and it bites. And we'll give it a shot, see if it comes out now. Hopefully the spring and ball don't go flying, but we'll see. Oh, I moved a little bit, not all the way. Hopefully it didn't bugger up the threads too much. We'll see. Oh, that's it. Obscure the camera, Bob. Well, I'm still fighting it. It's still not coming out. As you can see, the hole itself has become a little deformed, which is why I like the solid ones better than the sheet metal ones here. But you can also see there's a lot of crap on the back of that ball, a lot of grit and grease. So again, it had to come out. We'll try something else. All right, we're going to try the stubborn bastard, this time with the 12 millimeter. Which, by the way, is just an old Opel head bolt that I welded to a 3/8 nut, which I welded to this homemade slide hammer. All right, let's see if this one works. Oh, and there it goes. There's the ball bearing on the floor. At least I could see it. Come on. So there's a spring, which was nicely cleaned, as you can see. Not. Again, the dilemma. On the back of this as well, black with sludge. I'm sure the inside of it. Yeah, more crap inside. Again, aside from the drilling, it's just not clean in there, and it has to be. I just want to get a light on this and get a little bit better close-up, so I'm going to show you that while the rest of the timing cover was spotless, inside there, not so much. The bypass by far is the worst here. A lot of little flecks of stuff embedded in the dried oil, so just got to get them cleaned out again. The last plug in the timing cover to remove is the one just below the fuel pump hole. So this one almost never gets removed. There it is. And as you can see, you know, not nasty, but it still has dried crap in it. And let's see. Still a little bit. Again, not horrible. Not like the oil filter area. That's traditionally full of crap. But let me see. Oh, there it is. There's a little shelf, a little buildup of crap on there. And that will move. Again, once the oil starts circulating through there, it'll go through the engine. All right, so the first oil passage that I'm going to be tapping for a pipe plug is the one right above the oil pump itself, which is right below the fuel pump hole. And this one, it doesn't have as many limitations as some of the others. For example, there's no sharp bends immediately. I think it's about, I don't know, maybe 3/4 of an inch, 7/8 of an inch in before there's a passageway they have to worry about. And obviously what you don't want to do is run a tap too deep and then intersect that and block that passageway. Here, you don't have to really worry about it. Just got to go deep enough so that you have clean threads and you have a good seal. So I'm using a 3/8 NPT tap. Using a ratchet because it's just easier. T-bar, you don't always have access, particularly with this clamp right here. So what I'll do is I'll run this in. Have an idea on the depth I want to go to for starters, anyway. I'll do a test fit at first. I don't think I went deep enough, but this is how I figure out how deep it needs to go eventually. Yeah, it's barely engaging, so I've got probably another 1/4 inch to go. Here I've run it in for the second time. I got about another 1/4 inch of depth in there. Quick spritz. Some of the chips. And there you can see the threads. Hopefully this is long enough. Or deep enough, I should say. I could probably go a little bit deeper in there. But let me check with an actual ratchet. Actually, I think that's going to work just about perfectly. It's just slightly proud, not quite flush, and that's okay. There's more than enough thread engagement. So that one's done. So the next oil passage I'm going to be cleaning up, or I should say tapping, will be the one at the top of the timing cover, which is the end of the oil galley that feeds the cylinder head. So this is the part that actually goes up to the head right here. So I've got this much engagement before I have to worry about interfering with it. So I can literally countersink that thing over 1/4 of an inch and it won't be a problem. I usually kind of just make it just below the surface here because obviously you don't want to interfere with the head gasket sealing. For this size, I use a 1/4 NPT. So just got a 1/4 NPT tap and using a ratchet with a 12-point, actually this is a 4-point socket, which is nice for driving taps if you don't want to use a tap handle. And I'm just going to run this one in here. Worth noting is that for this top oil passage and the previous one that I tapped on the side of the timing cover, I'm using 316 stainless steel pipe plugs. And I just use them. I don't usually like stainless steel plugs because they tend to gall, although into aluminum it's not too bad. But what I also don't like is for them to rust like crazy. They just look like crap. So the one in the oil filter boss, I'll use plain steel. But for the one on the top here and the one on the side, that's potentially exposed to moisture. I figure, you know, make it stainless steel, and at least it looks good for a while. So let's see how this one fits. It's a fairly deep plug. Barely engaging, so I can go a lot deeper on the threads. All right, let's do the second round. See if that's deep enough. think when I put a ratchet on it, it will be sufficient. There you go. So that's below the surface. Still got a lot of way to go. It doesn't interfere with that right there. So the top one's done. Okay, the last thing to tap is going to be the oil filter boss. So obviously this is the center where the threaded portion goes and the filter threads onto the boss. This is the check valve. It's the bypass if the filter clogs. On race engines, I also drill and tap that, put a plug in it, because nowadays I'm using oil filters with a check valve in it, and I'm also not running 30,000 miles without an oil change like some people might have done in the 70s. They get changed frequently. It's really a non-issue. So the one that we're actually going to tap today is this one here, and yeah, you can see there's a 90-degree turn right there. So the key here is to run it to a depth deep enough to block this hole, but not so deep to get into that passageway right there and block it. All right, lube on the thread. Make sure you gotta be careful. Just don't want to go in too deep. That's pretty much where it sits. A little below the surface. I've already shined the light inside the other passageway, the intersecting one, and it is still shy of that passageway. It does not protrude into it, so it's not blocking anything, no disruptions there. So that's pretty much it. Those are the three areas that need to be tapped. Again, unless you're racing and you can do this one, you can plug that one. But what I need here is to get one of those solid, thick wall spacers to replace when I damage removing it. I can either get it off an older timing cover. I've actually got a 1967 1.5 Cam head timing cover that has a solid spacer. I might steal it off of that. Or I'm going to order a new one from Opel GT Source. I believe they do carry those. And now all it needs to be done is the plugs that I put in there need to be removed. And then I'll use solvent and rifle brushes and clean it out multiple times till it's clean. Then I'll go back and submerge the entire thing in a sink full of hot water with Dawn detergent. I'll pre-spray it with a little bit of purple clean in the passages, and I'll take another set of rifle brushes and I'll clean them until everything that comes out of there is absolutely transparent, no dirty water, nothing. And rinse it really good, blow it off, and once everything's dry, then I'll use a pipe thread sealer, install the pipe plugs, press in this plug right here, and that's pretty much it. That'll be done, and she'll be clean, which is the way they're supposed to be.